I was on a podcast earlier, guys, and I had the Rowan World Champions. I had Joel and I had Lloyd. And I know you love your numbers, Reggie. And I just thought I wanted to share these numbers with you because his rowing numbers are just absolutely insane. So
Yeah.
his his marathon row, he had 139.6 per 500.
Like, unless you do rowing, unless you do erg stuff regular, like people can't fathom what that would take to do something like that.
Yeah,
Like for every gym goers that go to, I don't know, pure gyms and stuff like that, and you're seeing them on machines and they just haven't got a clue how to move. But
yeah.
to tell them to be like, you just hold that for as long as you can. And most people would probably be close to a minute. Never
Yeah,
mind,
agreed.
you're doing that for what, 2 and a bit hours? Do you know what I mean? Like blows my. How long does that even take? He probably knocks it off under sub 2 hours, does he?
Yeah,
Holding that split, do you know what I mean?
so 2 hours, 20 minutes for the marathon row.
Like that blows my mind being
Disgusting,
able
isn't it?
the capacity to do something like that.
Would you
Have you
still
done a
spank
marathon run?
concept bike or Reggie?
You what, mate?
Would you still spank him on a bike?
Oh, just on a bike. I'm full of confidence at the minute on one of them.
I've seen hot stuff.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the bike waters that you put on at the Crucible was insane, mate. I mean, literally, that was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I've done some dark sessions on the bike erg, like a bit more from like last year where my head was at. Like I was doing some hard sessions just mentally, and then being able to tick off the numbers that I still wanted to do while my headspace wasn't really in it. Like I just knew going into that competition that I was like, I'm untouched on this machine. Like no one's like, whatever number is going to be the top number, is like I'm taking it off. Like so I come out fairly hot and I was just dragging lads to deep water because where you were on the screen, all the screens were like linked up. So obviously, and I've had success in other ergs where the screens have been linked up. And my first one was in Miami when it was like a 12-minute max distance row. And all the lads were saying when we got briefed, what was the average you would have to hold to finish it? And I think it was like a 137 or something, or 138. But he was like, don't worry about that. Everyone's going to get caught. And I was staying quiet and I was just like, yeah, it sounds like everyone is going to get caught here, but I'll just see how it is. So I remember coming out the blocks on that and we had all 40 lads. We had like Pat Vellner, Knowles and all these big names that I looked up to. And I was just in awe being on the floor with these lads. And fucking probably just dusted a kebab the night before because I just landed fucking 2 days before. I was still working all the way up until the Wednesday and I was competing on fucking Friday or something. And we had this event and I remember all the names were just getting pipped off. And because I come out the blocks quite hot, I was just like, right, I'm just going to match whatever I can do. And then I'm going to see if anyone can hold it. I'll try and bridge a 100-meter gap. And if I can bridge that gap, I know I'm at least 20 seconds ahead of someone. Then I can just drop down to the second person's pace and I can just hold it there. And I remember I was going toe to toe with this. I think he's called Travis Williams or something like that. I was going toe to toe with this lad. And I remember being like 4 minutes out and I still had this 100-meter gap. And he tried to knock it up and he dropped it down to like 80-meter gap. And I just matched his speed. And he obviously knew that I was willing to go the distance with him here. And I just kept the gap and it drained him a bit. And he just went back down to his pace. Like you can't bridge that gap within that time frame. It's quite hard to bridge. And I done the exact same thing at the Crucible. Like I dragged a few lads out of deep water with like 400 watts or whatever at the start.
They didn't want to go
And I
there.
just
They
seen
did
their
not want to
names
go
were
there.
just like dropping off. And I was like, next. And then Roman come up. He was second. I was like, he's going to stay. He's going to be around there. And he tried it again, like 5 minutes out. Like if you're not going to pull the pin within 5 minutes out, there's no point even pulling it within a minute. Like you're not going to find that. You're not going to find it. So he tried to pull it with like 4 minutes out and I just matched his pace, went a little bit more. And then he just dropped back off and he just settled for second place then. So it was actually wasn't that bad. Like I'd done a session tonight, which was fucking about 3 times harder than what the FTP was at the weekend. Like it was like, but that's where it's made. Like you make it in training. Do you know what I mean? Like the tests like that, especially at them numbers, that they weren't too bad for me.
And also, I think all that time you spend on the bike, like you earn those numbers on comp day in the
Yeah,
gym. You do the
100%.
really hard
Yeah,
work
yeah,
in the gym, don't you? And
yeah,
that's
yeah,
those cold
100%.
nights, cold mornings, and that's what also I think, Reggie, you are really known for those strong
Yeah,
efforts on the bike. I think you're
yeah,
well known for that.
yeah.
Yeah, it certainly sounds vile. But I don't know if you also know. So the 1K rowing world record went yesterday / today.
Oh, fuck. It's like
Yeah,
a 119
that's
average he held. Like, fuck.
yeah.
You know,
It was a negative split to finish as well.
like,
Absolutely
I remember
insane
the
numbers.
hardest thing I've ever done easily is a 1K row. Like, nothing on any ergers come even close to doing 1K row. And I remember it
Really?
was just, I swear to God, mate, I remember it fucking like it was yesterday. And it was when lockdown was just being lifted and GST had a training day down at WIT when I was with GST. And I think we had like a max clean to start with. And then it was this horrible workout. It was like a 20-minute AMRAP, but there's two separate scores. It was like a 1K row buy-in into like devil's press, chest to bar and things like that. And
Yeah.
obviously you'd pace the 1K row just so you get a decent score for the second part for the AMRAP. But just before I fucking started, Steve, my coach at the time, come up to me and he says, there's only two things that matter today. He says, who's getting the heaviest clean and who's banging this 1K row? And I was like, well, that's me then. And I went, fuck it, like as if I didn't have a 20-minute
Like
AMRAP
a
to do.
rag to a bull.
I went all in on this 1K row, mate. Like, you should have seen the clip of my split. Like, I got it down to like a 110. And then, I swear to God, I finished it in like 252, I think. So I don't know what a split that is, like a 124 average.
Yeah.
But if I had to do 1,200 meters, an extra 200 meters, it would have took me another 3 minutes to finish that 200 meters. The drop off I was having, I was like, my eyes were going fuzzy. The screen was going fuzzy. I was like, get them batteries changed on the monitor. They're like, what you on about, Reggie? I was like, the screen's going fuzzy. I was like, I was out 45 minutes afterwards. I was not doing a thing. I was spewing up. Like, not one rep of the AMRAP got touched after that row. Like, and it easily, to this day, one of the hardest tests there is, easily.
It's hilarious that you pulled out a 1K row at that time at your base. You've gone redline and gone to your max, and you got a part B. I think that's horrendous.
Oh,
That's that's horrendous, but hilarious, mate. That really is.
He
And
knew what he
I
was doing when he come up to me, when he whispered that. He's like, there's only two things that matters. I was like, fucking here we go.
It's funny because for me, it was all the 500 or the 2K row that was the hardest. And I did a pod on that a few weeks ago with a few of the rowers, and 2K row came out on top as the hardest. However, today the guys were also talking about the 1K row, and actually that's probably harder. But
Yeah,
it's
I
a
think
great debate, and I guess it depends on your strengths as well and what you want
yeah,
to
the
do, right?
2K row, like even like you look at some of the CrossFitters now that like Hopper and some other lads that they're getting close to going sub 6 on a 2K row. Like
Yeah,
that's
which is
phenomenal.
it is phenomenal.
For being
And I
able to
think
do everything else what they can do, to be able to put out that, get so close to like, I know fucking rowers that train for their life to even break like a 620 or a
yeah,
610. Do you know what I mean? Like to go in sub
yeah,
6 and being able to snatch over 130 kilos is like, it blows my mind, mate. Like blows
yeah.
my mind.
And I think that what you said there actually depicts the beauty of what I think functional fitness. I think what CrossFit is, because
Yeah.
it is those different elements that you can bring together. And Rick, I messaged you because you added a workout that had a 500-meter row in it, which
Yeah,
I
we
was
thought,
very impressed with.
yeah, we thought you'd like that. But it's
Yeah.
similar, like with Reggie. So obviously it's built in with something else. So it's kind of where you're going to put the work in.
Yeah.
What's this for, Rick?
Which one? Yeah, which one is this? Because I go through about 8,000 workouts a year. This one of the Arnold's ones.
It wasn't the Arnold ones. No, it was
Oh, I thought we were getting some fucking leaked workouts early doors for Arnold's there, like.
we'll try and get that out, and we'll get a ticket out and ready.
Yeah, we'll
We are
soften them up.
Yeah. To be honest, you're better off speaking to some of the team rather than me because it's like in one ear, out the other.
the amount of messages that I've had saying try and get information about the Arnold workout. It's just absolutely loads of them. So I feel as though you've nipped that in the bud early doors, Rick. So we're not going to be getting any of that. But that 500-meter row, you put it in as part A, and then part B it was X and Y.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was one.
that's
So I saved it, and I
like
will do it
yours.
at home.
Yeah, it's a lot like yours, Reggie. Like with exactly the same thing where you've got a part B afterwards, but
Yeah.
both parts score.
Yeah,
So
well,
you,
it's one of them things. If people don't have that, like, what's the point in the pot? Like, say if you have a workout for time and you've got a 500-meter row, what means nout, and they're doing the rest of the thing. Like, everyone's just going to chill on the 500-meter row. Soon as you've got
Yeah.
two separate scores, then you're going to see some bodies kicking around. Do you know what I mean? Like, because that's the only way I think
Exactly
there should be
right.
programs and stuff like that.
and
Agreed.
there's a lot
You need to have jeopardy.
with, you know, who's gonna hit the row too hard.
Yeah.
But then, even though they're gonna
Reggie
then
is.
in part B, it's still gonna affect your score on part A.
100%.
You know what I mean? So there's
Yeah.
loads of strategy in there for
Yeah,
people to
so
do.
much strategy. So much
Yeah.
strategy. There was,
'Cause
I think there
again,
was one for French throwdown qualifier last year. It was a 1,000-meter row as a buy-in, but it was a separate score, and then it went into like a horrendous workout. It was like burpee box jump overs and 70-kilo thrusters. And it was one of them things that if you didn't go hard enough on the row, though, I think like a lot of the lads cooked the row too much, and they died on the workout. But if you just chilled the row, because so many lads cooked the row, like if you've done the 1K row in like a 3:15 or a 3:20, you're finishing close to last place. Do you know what I mean? So it was one of them things that like you play with fire, like fucking, especially with stuff like that.
yeah,
And you definitely you need to know your splits, and you need to know the athlete that you are and your times, which is why you
Yeah.
need to spend time on the ergs to know what your splits are going to be, and
Yeah,
how do I
100%.
feel when I get off, and if I've completed a 1K and 3:30 compared to a 1K and 3:25. There is a
Yeah.
big difference there.
Well,
You need to
massively.
know your splits. You need
Yeah.
to spend time on those ergs, and I know I really enjoy that mental side of it. I love the
Yeah.
strategy and trying to work out how do I plan this workout? How can I make this workout good for me? I
Yeah.
do enjoy that side of it. But
Yeah,
yeah, let's
I'm a bit of a slut for data with stuff like that. But I think it's even like understanding what it takes to bring 5 seconds off a rower, taking that split down off that. So if it's, I don't know, you've got a few transitions and it's a 500-meter row, you've got 20 toes to bar and something else. If it's taking you 5 seconds every time to get to that rower, and you're fucking around getting your feet in and getting the fucking handles going, like, it's so much harder to find that 5 seconds that you've just fucked around with a shit transition
yeah,
than it is
Yeah.
just to be more efficient with a transition and you've got the monitor going straight away. Do you know what I mean? Like, rather than you, like, not only have you got to pull harder for 5 seconds now, it's like a 500 meters worth of effort that you've got to try and find that fight. It's not like 5 seconds worth of effort, like, oh, just row harder for 5 seconds. You've got to keep that effort up for a whole 500 meters just to find that time back, and understanding like
right.
that type of pacing on ergs and stuff like that is like a massive game changer,
do that
especially for
so much on the comp
transitions.
floor, where people run to the rower and then they won't even have the feet in yet, and they start to try and pull the handles, and you're like, genuinely, because like I've done a lot of stuff on the concept, and it's a computer, and it's going to take your average pace and like what
Yeah.
you're doing is a meters wise off like
Yeah.
the effort going through, and you're actually
Yeah.
having the best start you can ever have by doing that, because
Yeah.
the computer basically thinks that, Sheila, the 98-year-old pensioner, is on the rower. So it's just
literally doing a
like
3-minute split.
yeah. And then by the time they've got the feet in and they've actually got up to speed, it's like you would have been actually way faster, getting your feet in properly, doing a proper racing start. And it's like now it's up to speed, and it actually thinks that an
Yeah.
athlete's on it, and it's
Yeah.
doing all its computing off that person.
100%.
It's crazy. Just so much time wasted where they think because they're moving,
Yeah.
and then so many times I see on the rower where people don't know their paces and don't know, the difference between like cows, whether it's on cows or meters. So whether
Yeah.
it's a 500-meter split or whether it's on cows,
Yeah.
and they don't really have that like computing in their head to say, hold on, if I just knock it back a tiny bit on the pace here, I literally cost myself 3 seconds of getting off the rope, but I can get off and do something.
Yeah,
Or
100%. Rather than just look at something.
a bit of
Yeah.
effort, I'm going to be spent by the time I get off.
Yeah.
I know when I first kind of started a few years ago, that's 4 or 5 years ago, I always thought being out of breath and all the effort was the goal, but it's about being really clever with it and slowing down at the right point. So I know I can transition. I can pick the dumbbell straight up,
Yeah.
crack on with the
100%.
burpees, down to the
Yeah.
bar rather than waiting. So I do now intentionally think, right, I say to myself, can I do the next exercise immediately? If I can't, and I'm coming to the
What's
end
the
of my
point? Yeah.
row, for example, I just pull it back and rein it in
Yeah.
so I can get off and I know I'm ready
Yeah.
to go.
So if
Doesn't
you're
work
getting
out
on the,
every time.
if you're on the row for like, you're pulling the 145 for 1,000 meters,
Yeah,
and you get off and you've got thrusters to do, and you've looked at the barbell for 10 seconds or 15 seconds before you've done a rep, you may as well have took 10 seconds to split. But in that 10
yeah,
seconds of split, it's so much easier slowing down on the erg that you can just go straight into the barbell rather than you're
yeah,
trying to find a 145 for that whole duration. And then you're looking at the barbell for 20 seconds. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Do you
yeah,
know what I mean? You may as well just pull
yeah.
it back from the start.
It's just such, I see it as wasted intensity. That's all
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
But again,
I think,
it comes down to learning and you have to go through those mistakes
oh,
to work
100%.
out
Yeah.
what your
Yeah.
paces are. And that
Yeah.
comes back to what you originally said earlier, Reggie, is putting yourself on the pain cave and going through those sessions
Yeah.
is where you
You've got,
learn.
you,
And
you,
that
you've got
is
to walk,
key.
you've got to walk the miles yourself. Like, you 100% got to
Yeah.
walk the miles yourself.
And
You're like,
You,
obviously you can give guidance with people, but I think the more you fuck around, the more you find out with stuff like that yourself. Do you know what I mean?
and I think people that don't do enough kind of sitting at constant paces on machines, like they just see a distance or a time on a machine and they do whatever, and whether the pace
Yeah.
goes up or down, and they
Yeah.
can't actually sit like they struggle to just sit there on a rower and say hold a 145, and
Yeah.
it's like just hold it, like
Yeah.
learn to hold the pace, learn the rhythm that it
Yeah.
takes.
I think what Rick's saying there is like bang on. And I think a lot of CrossFitters, well, people that want to be a top end CrossFitter, they struggle with having that gears in any movement. If it's a rower or if it's double unders, if it's thrusters, they've only got one gear and it's like flat out or nothing. Like, it's learning different gears. So you know that, all right, I'm a bit fucked here. I'm going to drop the gear so you can keep the cadence or keep the RPM going on whatever it is. You're keeping the needle moving. If it's thrusters, if it's burpees, if it's on the row machine or on the bike or whatever, you know that you've dropped the gear so you can still do something rather than, as I know so many people, they've either got all in or they're done. Do you know what I mean?
And
Yeah.
I think a lot of these people forget that, like the machines specifically, that it's a machine and a computer system. I mean, years and years ago, I did 22 hours on an assault bike for charity, and I went beforehand because I know you love data, Reggie. So I went beforehand, and I literally sat for like 10 minutes at each different kind of pace on an assault bike, and I
Yeah.
worked out that there's actually little jumps. It doesn't do exact calories per pace.
Yeah.
So your RPMs, that's what I was tracking, but the calories normally kind of jumped up in ones, but I found a few
Yeah.
little sweet spots where the calories would jump up in twos
Right.
because it's a
Oh,
computer system.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
yeah.
things to
Yeah.
make it work.
Yeah. 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 100%.
I myself where all these little sweet spots were to sit at,
Yeah.
because if I have to do this big distance on an assault bike, I was like,
It's fucking
I
adds
wanna,
up.
I want to try and find these sweet spots.
Yeah.
So I
100%.
need
Yeah.
RPMs to hit to
Yeah.
be efficient on it rather than slogging myself to death.
Fucking send me over them RPMs. What sweet spots you've been found out, Rick?
I do think sometimes though people actually go the other way with it and they will go, okay, well I know my comfort zone, and they will just never come out of it. So I like to
Yeah.
sometimes just say, well, this
Mhm.
workout, I'm going to put myself in a hole so I know how it feels, and I know I'm not going to pick the bar up, but I know how that feels, and can I hold bigger steps than what I should hold? Because then you
Yeah.
know. That's the only way you learn your thresholds is by going past your
Yeah.
thresholds. You've got to go one way, balance out the other way. But not a lot. Some people don't do that. They just go, well, I know I can hold 150, but
Yeah. And I don't get out of
1,000
the
meters.
comfort zone enough. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where kind of I think people get stuck in that rut of, oh, I'm just comfortable doing this and just moving.
Yeah.
And then they're not qualifying for certain competitions, or should I say, improving in scores, and they wonder why. But I think you do need to actually go, well, I'm going to go one end of the scale, literally take myself out of my comfort zone,
Yeah.
make it ugly, dig myself out of a hole. Okay, cool, that didn't work. Now let's rein it back. And I think it's just
Yeah.
a trial and error phase, really.
And
Yeah, I think that's what I was like when I was younger, when I first started CrossFit. Like, I'd done too much of the other end of the spectrum. Like, I would just go all in until I was in survival mode. Like, I think there's a time and a place for stuff like that, but there's a time and a place for understanding the stimulus from different workouts. But yeah, I was definitely on the other end of the spectrum. Like, I wasn't scared to go the dark side. Like, but yeah, I learned the hard way.
And I think people don't really change up the stimulus on machines too much, especially like the ergs you can. So I mean, how many times do you see people doing rowing and just sitting at like zone 2?
Oh,
Whereas
yeah.
if you're going to get good at running, you need to be like
You need
mixing up to it.
100%. You
You
need
need
to learn to run fast. Do you know what I mean? You don't
Yeah.
just expect to go and run fast by doing zone 2 runs all the time. Like, obviously that builds a base and stuff like that. But to run fast, you need to learn to run fast. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But you will be mixing between them. You will have zone 2 sessions, you will have
Yeah.
hill interval sessions, you have bits and bats like that. Whereas for rowing, or let's take that as an example, most people
Yeah.
just sit on it and expect to get better. I can
Yeah.
remember a piece, JST put it out. This was like years and years ago. And you had to sit at your 2K pace. So for me, I think it was about 145.
Right.
But you had to have your strokes per minute. It was either 12 or 13. It was absolutely miserable. It
12
was
or 13.
yeah. So you're talking. I think it was 4 or 5
How the
seconds
glutes?
stroke, and
Before you could pull again.
yeah, it was like a deadlift each one.
Oh,
It was the most brutal sessions I've ever done on a rower, but
yeah.
it mentally made you tougher, but then also like physically, you were just so much stronger. And then if you've got a stronger pull on that rower, to set a pace is easier.
100%. 100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Like mixing the way that you use the machines.
I think one thing that JSD did taught me was like building that base, like an aerobic system with it was a salt bike, row intervals or ski intervals, anything like that. Like, it was quite monotonous, but once you go past that monotonous and you get addicted to learning your paces and learning the different rhythms, like, it just levels your fitness up. And we've done like, I had a programmed off Steve before. It was like an hour on the rower, but the stroke rate had to be above 32, which is just like relentless for an hour,
Yeah.
just like in and out. I didn't have any hamstrings left. They were peeling off the back of my legs. Like, it's a fast stroke. Like obviously when you do longer distance stuff, you try and slow it down just so you let the machine do the work and you let the flywheel do the work. Whereas when you're constantly reloading it for 32 strokes a minute, like, your hamstrings fucking know about it after 5 minutes. Like,
yeah, that's a high stroke rate. I competed for the first time in the British Road Championships, and I trained to do a 500-meter row, which I've never done for time. And I went from my usual stroke rate, 24, 26, and then trying to learn to hold 40 and 42
yeah,
was insane for that 500 meters. But again, it was me getting out of my comfort zone and trying to retrain the body to, I wouldn't say row better, but row with power as opposed to just focus on technique. But it was really interesting to see how that carried over to my other fitness, was pushing those sprint workouts, and it really carried over to the CrossFit style, which was a big benefit. Have you heard of the conversations going on lately about how CrossFit's become very machine orientated and the fitness now are just the best on the machines? What are your thoughts on that, Reggie?
I don't really know. I haven't really looked in too much about CrossFit at the minute with some of the stuff what people fucking put out on social media. But yeah, I feel like it has been a bit biased, and I feel when you are bigger and heavy athlete, like, it's so much easier to be good on the ergs. I feel like there's a difference from running on a salt runner to running on the road outside. Like, you'll see some of the bigger lads just batter some assault running scores or whatever, but then you put them on the road and they're nowhere near some of the lads what goes off body weight. It would be interesting to see if people started to do FTPs off body weight and your watts, so you'd find out your watts per kilo, and that would be the true score, rather than if I banged out 400 watts for 20 minutes, but I'm sitting at 100 kilos, so I'm pushing out 4 watts per kilo, but someone's done 350 and he's sitting at, I don't know, 60 kilos or whatever, and he's pushed out 7 watts per kilo. Obviously, CrossFit swings and roundabouts, and they don't really care about taller athletes, smaller athletes, things like that. It is what it is. But I think it might be just a different gauge and a different different scoring system would be quite interesting with stuff like that. Like to bring in stuff like that. I think
it's interesting. Rick, what are your thoughts on that?
Do you mean from like an event point of view, or from like in gyms?
From an event point of view, the games was very biased towards machines. It's become a machine games now, and it's such a high percentage of the workouts that it's really affecting the bias side of the games and the athletes.
Yeah, I mean, I think they will, but I think a lot of that will probably be steered. So events are like great, but there's so much more goes on behind the scenes, and I am nowhere on the scale of the games, but I'm sure they have very similar like politics going on and bits like that behind the scenes. And there's probably a lot of push on there from these companies to get their equipment in. So look at these. If we talk about the games, it's pretty much Rogue, isn't it? Rogue will supply pretty much what they want, but it's a two-way conversation. It's also what Rogue want to sell.
yeah,
So, they bring out the rower and the ski, and
yeah,
It's a business, right? It is a business.
Yeah.
We've got to think about that as well. And Rick,
And this-
you know that more than anyone.
yeah, and this is the thing with events. I mean, we get so much like flack and grief coming towards us for workouts and for this, that, and the other. And a lot of the time, like, you really don't see how much people's hands are tied with agreements and with what you've had to do just to be able to put the event on in the first place.
yeah.
So I do think some of that will come into play with the games.
Yeah.
And fresh. So it's, like, there's always stuff that's new in there, like when the sleds first came in, and then everyone was whinging about some sleds were faster than others. And I've had that myself at some of my events where we've tested them, we put them on the grass, and whatever they were treating the grass with on the pitch, I think it was like fucking what is it? Super glue or something. It was like, what? It's just turned like a 60k sled into a 220k sled.
Yeah.
And for the games, that's then on TV, and it's like, how do we sort this?
Yeah.
No.
But these
Fair
companies will get products in.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. And I say you're probably the best place to make that comment about that. I'm certainly not, which is why I'm really interested in your opinion. Reggie, I'm really intrigued by the Crucible. First of all, congratulations on your performance. I will say I think you committed to every event, and it was good to watch. I'm just really intrigued by your opinion on, you're an athlete on the day, you were there, and your experience of the setup and the structure, because it's a lot different to what is a normal, shall we say, CrossFit event.
Yeah.
And in the time domains that you had. And from my point of view, I watched it, and it'd be nice to share with you my thoughts as a viewer, how I thought about watching the competition. So how was it to take part? What did you think of the structure? I know you competed in it before, but what are your thoughts on that kind of structure?
Yeah, I think it's really good. I think it was a fair test. I think it tests a broad range and it hit a lot of domains. I think it was fair for everyone, that everyone knew the test, what that had coming up. So they could do as much homework as they like, or they could just turn up on the day.
They were released quite early, weren't they?
Yeah, they were released like maybe 6 months ago or something, 7 months ago. So no one didn't have any excuse.
Did they give you all the exact details of the requirements for example, the dips and the strict pull-ups? So did you get the exact requirements?
It wasn't as specific as that. It released it enough to know, right, you're going to be doing this time domain, you're going to be doing the deadlifts, you're going to be doing the dips, you're going to be doing the run. So you know what time scales you had, you know what rest period you had leading into them. But I think when it comes to, my point of view from it, I thought the tests were great. The weekend was unbelievable. I think when it comes to the dips and the strict pull-ups, they're so subjective to what they class as a rep compared to other judges that it ruined some people's weekend. Like I got battered on the dips.
I saw that
from the judge I had, and I should have appealed it on the floor, but I couldn't be asked to be that awkward one. I was like, yeah, is what it is. That's his way of seeing things. Like, I'll just crack on. But you look at it over the
Yeah.
weekend, like the 7 reps, I got no reps 7 times on the rep, and every rep, like in my view, was bang on. Everyone, it was the same one. And on the live stream, the last 3, he gave me the fourth last one, and he no rep me for the last 3, and they looked exactly the same as the fourth one. I'm just like, where's the consistency with this? Whereas when it comes to the row, not the row, the run, the deadlift, the bench, the swim, the FTP, the strict press, whatever, like they're all things that are so in line. Like, you either do the rep or you fucking don't. Like, you can't lie about your FTP, you can't lie about your run, you can't lie about the swim. So yeah, I had my weekend like ruined a bit with that type of stuff, and especially how the scoring system works. Like, it's really hard to
Yeah.
bounce back from a lot. Like, I think I finished 32nd out of 40 on the dips.
Yeah.
Even though like fucking even the 3 reps that I got done for at the end, like them 3 reps would have bumped me up to 3rd place, I think, overall, which is like just 21 grand. Do you know what I mean? 21
Yeah.
grand difference from 5th to 3rd is a lot of money. So
It is
yeah, I
indeed.
think
Yeah.
I think that if they could have a bit more clear with the standard, if you had to touch something or if whatever, like, I think it would be a bit more fair rather than a judge's opinion on someone's, like, I was getting done. So he said, so I remember in the warm-up area, and I went to my judge, I was like,
Was it
so,
the swing of the plate not moving,
nah,
wasn't it? That was a
my,
really
so
big.
there was loads of different ones. So I didn't have any swing on mine. So I just said to my judge, I was like, right, I'll show you some of the dips. And I jumped up onto the bar, and deep as I can, pressed out, strict as I could. He's like, yeah, no rep. And I was like, done it again. He's like, yeah, no rep. And I was like, I jumped off the bar. I was like, right, mate. I was like, so they're all no reps. I was like, so what do I need to do a rep? He's like, so your foot is like this. It moves like this. It's a no rep. I was like, if my foot moves like this, how is this a no rep? It's like people's legs are going up and down. And I was like, there's a different, like, like, I thought the standard is that this has to be strict. There's no momentum in your hips. Like, that's the standard. But that was his opinion. Like, if your foot moved, your foot was moved. Obviously, after you've done 10 heavy deadlifts, my fucking whole body was shaking, man. Like, my CNS was on rocks. I was like quivering going to this dips. But yeah, that was his opinion
Yeah.
on his judging. But I think
I know.
I was pretty gutted about it. But the rest of the weekend, mate, I was so proud of the effort and the work I'd put in on the bike, on the running, especially on the swimming. Like, I really shot myself on the swim. Yeah, I was really proud with everything else on there. It was just a bit of a bummer
Yeah.
that like I got stung with some tough no reps.
Yeah. And I think with any competition, and Rick will know this, that, I think the standards is just something we just, as athletes, we just need to accept that these things happen and deal with it the way you did. And I
Yeah,
do think in that event and the whole Crucible weekend, they were very clear in what they said with the standards. And like you say, the movements they had were quite easy to judge.
yeah,
And they kept it nice. It was super, super strict, but super, super clear.
yeah.
Um, Being there, it sounds like you had a great time and you enjoyed it. Rick, did you manage to see any? You might not have seen Crucible event. I'm not
I
too
did.
sure.
Oh man, I've been
Okay.
snowed on.
So, um, watching it from our point of view, so you want to, Rick, I remember you saying to me, when you program a workout or an event, you want to make sure you got to have the judging good, easy to judge, easy to access, and also people have got to really enjoy it. But when you've got an event that's on TV, I think it's also something that you have to take into consideration is it needs to be viewable. And for the first 2 or 3 rounds of sets of 10 people going, however many people it was really cool. And then it become very repetitive, because it's the same workout each time for that day. And I found that it got quite boring from a viewing point of view watching that.
Yeah,
Every person I've spoke to that went to the event absolutely loved it. And competing wise was like, it was a great setup. They liked the short transitions. You haven't got to go and cool down for an hour and go and work out again. So getting it all done in one go was a really good idea. But I think from a viewership point of view, it was just a case of, it was a bit mind numbing over and over again, seeing the 10 deadlifts. Still great seeing the weight being moved, and it is an incredible feat, people moving that way. I basically logged on and tuned in what I wanted to see certain athletes. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I went through it. But they
I think
did
I
have
think a lot of
quite good
people there as
streaming as well.
well. A lot of people there even just done that what you were saying. They just turned up for certain things, and then a lot of people left. So you didn't have the same people that was watching the whole event. Like people like, I'm not going to go to Crucible to watch this thing the whole day. They would go for like a couple of heats and then they would just go back home
Right.
or whatever. Like it wasn't the same faces that you'd see around the warm up area and stuff like that. It wasn't
Yeah.
like a CrossFit event where it would be a bouncing day all day around. There was actually not that many people there watching it in the crowd.
And I guess that makes sense then, Reggie, because in a CrossFit event everything is a race for that one event, for that
Yeah.
heat you're taking part in. So in every heat you've got jeopardy. Whereas when you're not really racing in your sprints, you're doing it for your own time, you're doing your
Yeah.
deadlifts for your own reps. It
Yeah.
felt more very individual. This is my score. I don't know where I am on the leaderboard or this heat. I'm not trying to win the heat. So I
Yeah.
think it removed that what I call adrenaline rush of competitiveness, trying to win a heat. So yeah, I felt that was lost a little bit. But did it crown the fittest person for that type of event in a strength point of view and endurance? I think from what the goal they set out as a Crucible, I think they achieved it. I do.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. So I have had a message from the big man. So they've had another power outage. So I am going to go on to a couple of bits that I really want to discuss with Rick, and then we'll revisit that at the time when he can come on again another day. But the conversation so far, guys, has been great. I really appreciate your input, Reggie, mate. That's absolutely brilliant. Rick, I'm really excited about the Arnolds, dude. I'm so excited. I know, Reggie, you're in training for it, buddy, for the elite. I'm in the 45 plus middle ground.
I need
Excited
to
be going
start
back.
training for it, man.
Workout 1's just got a bike erg in it, mate. Workout 2's a bike erg. 3 is a
Rick. Right. I'll sort that payment out, Rick.
Yeah, nice one. Cheers, Bob.
And they're defined a meter road to finish.
Yeah.
So no, Rick, how's the planning going for it, dude? Obviously, people are going to be listening to this. They're going to be training hard for it. I'm speaking to different athletes where I'm going to be following their journey, and I'm going to be going up to their boxes, meeting them, getting video content, and then following them on their day as well. So I'm really excited about doing that. Every person I've spoken to are absolutely buzzing. They're so excited about the event. So can you give us any information, any teasers for the day? Are you happy with how it's going setup wise? How is it all going for the Arnold, buddy?
There will be a gymnastic rig in the middle of the competition floor. There you go. There's your teaser. So, yeah, hard work, mate. Arnold's is probably the hardest one to put on with working with the sports festival and being part of a bigger sort of festival. It is real hard work this year. There's still lots of negotiations happening. Kit still isn't finalized. We've got workouts, but they might need amending depending on whether the kit can turn up or not. So a lot of the stuff that people, again, don't see and I don't expect them to, but it's not as easy as kind of just think of an idea and it comes to fruition. It's like this one's been an absolute slog. Like for our events, we've pretty much got everything boxed off through the year. We know what's happening, where kit's turning up and this, that, and the other. The Arnolds, it's like a lot harder work. Like I say, I mean, the equipment is rogue again. We had this same kind of issue with them last time in 2024, where they provide a rig like you'd have at semis, where it's not a lot of athletes on it. It's higher on the back and kind of comes down. You got pull-ups on the front, and you can have rings and rope on the back, which is no good for us for a comp floor where we have lots of people going at, working on both sides. So we've ended up having to sort out. So I'm taking my competition rig down, and we're not using the Rogue one. But then sorting out whether we can still get things like ropes and rings to program those movements. So in 2024, we kind of bastardized the Rogue rig and used that, but it only left us with pull-up bars and wall ball targets. We had no trawler arms, so we couldn't do ring muscle ups. We had no hands press up board. So there's big things like that that really affect what you can program. So we've kind of we're around it this year, which means extra haulage dramas and getting kit down there for that. But again, there will be that now. So hopefully, I can't promise it because we're still waiting on some emails from Rogue back and forth and whether I have to buy more equipment and things like that. But there will hopefully be some gymnastic rings this year. There might be a climbing rope. There will definitely be pull-ups. There will be wall ball targets. There
Is
will
that an
be
exclusive? There's going to be rope climbs. Is this I'm just clarifying. Is that an exclusive?
the thing is I cannot say this because I don't even know if I'm going to get hands on them.
I won't
So
hold you to it, Rick.
there could be, there could not be. And this is a thing. Like we're basically 6 weeks out. And for me, this is like mega stress levels because I want all this stuff boxed off because there's a
Yeah.
million, as it gets closer to it, we are so busy putting this thing together that I cannot be this like close to it, still sorting out basic things like what equipment we have to write workouts for and bits and pieces like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it is like a lot of hard work. And it's nowhere near as profitable as people think. Everybody's squeezing you for more. Everyone wants bits and pieces out of it. So it is ending up starting to become just non-viable for us. But I'm hoping we can like do some more negotiating and make it viable. But yeah, it's not like I'm really, really sort of like pleased that people enjoy it that much and it's got that good a reputation because that means that
Yeah.
like my team are doing a great job and we're managing to fight these fires and still put on something enjoyable for people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is
Yeah.
getting harder and harder.
Yeah. And it definitely is viewed as that's one of those major signature events because obviously it's linked to the Arnolds and the whole festival as well. And he always gets such a great crowd there.
Yeah.
Fantastic support. It is, I've said to you before, Rick, walking out on that floor when your name's announced and it's just little old me, you feel like $1 million. You really do.
Yeah.
And you put all the effort into to basically showcase what you can do at such a grand festival. So no, man, it is definitely appreciated. I do remember one workout. So it was the first workout, and it was 8 devil press, 40-foot lunge, 60-foot farmer's carry, max cow echo bike remaining time, 3-minute
I
AMRAP,
think everyone
um,
remembers that
three
one.
three rounds, and then the final round it was 1 minute rest, and had a 30-second max echo bike to finish. That was spewed. That was spewed. It really was. That just destroyed me for the whole day. It just destroyed me for the day.
Yeah,
But
I think
it was.
every
It was,
now and then you get you manage to put these like workouts together. And Steve did an absolute golden one on that. And it's those workouts that literally like, stick in people's minds that I think
Yeah.
like
yeah,
golden. Do you know what I mean?
it stuck in my mind and it took my soul. But that's the good stuff, right? That's what we're here for. So very, very excited about those workout announcements when they come, and I'm sure that'll be a few days before the competition.
I think the good thing about Arnold as well is that it pulls in a lot of different people from different crowds because of the fitness expo there. You don't just get your same CrossFitters watching it. You get people like, oh, what's that going on over there? And then it gets people more
Yeah.
involved. And I think it is really good for the sport. Like, and it's definitely, if not the best one in the UK that people should be doing. Like,
Yeah, I can
Well,
remember.
that's funny you say that.
The
Sorry,
first one
Rick. It's
we did, and obviously it's like pretty nervous putting the first one of a new type of event on and whether it'd be received well and things like that. And I can remember it was probably on a Saturday, and I ended up. It was like mid workout, and I think it was a lifting one at that time, and I ended up climbing up the rig, and I just looked out into the crowd, and the crowd must have been like 12 or 15 people deep at that end, and it's all like bodybuilders and strongmen and stuff like that. And it's such a cool thing to put on, especially with like how different fitness types slam each other. It always happens. CrossFitters
yeah.
and bodybuilders will do the same, so powerlifters. But it was just so cool there when I was like, actually, for the first time, this is people seeing CrossFit and not just some stupid meme type of social media off
Mhm.
a rig and doing that or the other.
Yeah.
There's people here that are like genuinely good at their sport that they do that are here genuinely interested and impressed by what's going on the competition floor. And I was like, that's pretty cool to do that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, really, really cool. And Reggie, you said about that a second ago. So I went to the Arnold Fitness Games, and I went to just to have a look around the centre and the exhibition, and I was watching the games, and I was like, I want to qualify for this. This is crazy. This looks incredible. So that was actually part of my journey, was seeing it and
really?
going, wow, this is incredible. These guys are literally laying there on the floor, rolling in pain. Let's get involved. I've never done a CrossFit comp before. And
That's
the
really
goal
good,
was to
that.
try and qualify. Yeah, and I didn't qualify in year one, and I managed to qualify. Yeah, and then managed to get on the podium. And Rick, you gave me my lovely prize on the podium, mate. You got my name wrong, but it's okay.
Yeah, that's not the first or the last time that'll happen. There with that.
Encompassing that whole experience is exactly what you just said. That journey that I went on, Reggie, is we're going to just see it. What's this? This looks great. Wow. Can I qualify? And just going through all that training process. It is so cool. And
Rick
don't forget,
had,
Rick, you
he
created
had
that.
He had Tia and Matt fucking dishing out the prizes one year.
Yeah.
You did. That's right. Yeah, that was right.
First year that. Yeah, first year.
Yeah.
No one
That
got
was
prize money that year. We just got name boards because Tia and Matt fucking got the budget. I was actually going to say something to Matt when he was when I bent over when he put the medal around my neck. I was going to say something. I was going to say like, "Can you reach?" But I fucking bottled it. I should have definitely said something to him. Like I was like, "You need a hand? Go step up on you."
They're actually like really nice. I had a good laugh with them, and again, that's been like there's a lot of hard work goes into these, but there are certain moments. Like for me, some of my best moments are when you see people, doing stuff that they think they couldn't do, but then like meet people like that has been amazing as well. Like there's definitely been some like golden moments, but it's like it is a good sport to be in. There's a lot of like positives with it.
100%.
There is indeed. But before we go, guys, because we had a great conversation, it's gone in a totally different angle that I expected it to, which is absolutely fine. We've winged that massively, guys, so I really appreciate it. Reggie, if you could program one workout for the Arnolds, what would it be?
FTP.
It doesn't include a CT bike.
It doesn't include a C2 bike. I've peaked. I don't know. Something with heavy squat cleans and cal row or burpees, thrusters, anything like that. I don't know.
Bring it all on, Reggie.
I'm past it now. I'm over 30. I'm over the hill now. I'm waiting out on Masters. I'm coming after you.
Mate, I'm 45 plus. Bring it on.
You know, you said about your shoulders, mate. Mine are like held on by shoestrings now. I might have given
this jacket's keeping my arms together.
Honestly, same as you. Rugby and army days, mate, and like my body's in pieces now. I'm ready for scrapping.
100%. Honestly, when I hit 50, just put me down.
I don't even think I'm gonna. Mate, and that's only 7 years ago, which for me, which is really worrying. But I'm on less than 7 years, I reckon.
Before we go, I want to play a quick fun game with you, Reggie. So I'm going to give you two names for a boxing match, and you're going to tell me who you think would win. Okay?
For a boxing match?
Yeah, they're CrossFitters though.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I'll say two names. Whoever you choose to win, they go for the next round, and I'll give you who else they would face. Okay?
Right.
And you'll always choose one, and we'll get down to the last person.
I hope it's not me, because I couldn't fucking fight my way out of a wet paper bag.
You're not in it. You're not in it. Don't worry about it. Rick's first. No. So the first pairing in this Chase Payne CrossFit Boxing World Championship. Who wins? Colton Mertens versus Austin Hadfield.
Mertens.
Okay. Who wins? Mertens versus Justin Medeiros.
Oh, Mertens all day. Medeiros. A wet lettuce.
Here we go.
He's a wet lettuce.
Yeah, he's a proper fit lad, but he does come across a bit like he's.
He was a wrestler, though. He was a wrestler, wasn't he?
He's a bit of a
Was
Clark Kent, isn't he? He
I
kind
don't
of has
know, but look, we're going to go with it. Reggie, it's your call, big man. This is your
Yeah,
game.
Mertens is like little Mike Tyson, man.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Okay, so Mertens versus Ricky Gerard.
Probably he's Ricky. Like he's a bit of a
He
little
looks
twat, isn't
hard to me. Like he
Yeah.
looks really hard.
Yeah,
I think
he's a
too,
rugby player, and he's an ex-rugby player. He can probably ban. He's went toe to toe with a few lads. Like
I think
Aussie
so.
rugby's different as well, isn't it? It's like
Yeah. Okay.
league, or is it
so-
a league out there? Is it Aussie football, Aussie rules, or something?
Yeah, Aussie rules
Fuck knows
football.
what
Yeah,
you play.
crazy.
Aussie football's like
They're strong.
But I think you can actually have scraps on the fucking pitch, can't you?
no, honestly, it's like full on. It's a little bit like, you know, if you made normal rugby into a Hollywood film where it's all prison rules and that lot,
That's it. Yeah.
Watch.
Okay, next one then. So next round, we've got Ricky Gerard versus Dallin Pepper.
Ah, Gerard again.
Yeah, okay. Okay, final one. Ricky Gerard against James Sprague.
Top 100% Gerard. 100%.
See, I think James Sprague's the dark horse. He's a real nice guy,
No
but he
chance,
just,
mate.
I
No
think he's a
chance.
dark horse.
He would hit you. He would hit you, and you'd apologise. There's not a chance.
That's a good point. He's so nuts. But no, yeah. Listen, that's cool. Guys, I appreciate your time today on this podcast. You know, we've obviously discussed a bit of the Crucible. We've definitely discussed the CrossFit Arnold Fitness Games. Very excited about it. Reggie, I appreciate your input on the bike and sharing your knowledge. And Rich, thanks again for being here for the third time, dude. Really, really appreciate it. So good luck for the rest of the week training, Reggie.
Yeah.
If you're back in
Cheers,
training,
mate.
not sure.
I'll try to get some training done before Arnold there.
But, you know, it's all good. It was a good, raw, honest conversation, and I know people are going to take a lot from it. And Rich, appreciate all your effort with what you're putting in with the Arnold, dude. Right, you're going to another fantastic event coming up, so it is appreciated. And good luck with your headache and lots to sort out.
Yeah, man. Keeping me bald anyway, so.
I thought that was off the handstand push-ups. You told me it was off the handstand push-ups.
Mate, I'd have a flat headed from them, wouldn't I?
Well, I'm on the same ticket. Like I've got a one-way ticket to that haircut as well.
No wonder you needed that Crucible money. You're off to Turkey.
I'm getting my teeth done and that 2 for 1.
Double bubble.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, look, thank you so much, and tune in next time to the Chase Payne podcast. Thank you very much, guys.